Before cruise ships, sea travel served work. At first, ships were tools. They were not for pleasure, they were for work. These vessels moved goods across vast oceans. They transported soldiers to distant shores. They also carried people seeking new lives in faraway lands. In the 18th and early 19th centuries, a journey by sea was a serious undertaking. Life aboard was hard. The conditions were often rough and basic. Ships were designed for function, not for comfort. The primary goal was to get from one port to another. The experience of the journey itself was rarely considered. It was simply something to be endured. The decks of these early ships were busy places, filled with sailors performing their duties. Below deck, space was extremely limited. People were packed into small, crowded quarters. Food was simple and monotonous. Salted meat and hard biscuits were common fare. The realities of life at sea. Sea travel was never intended to be enjoyable. It was part of global commerce and migration. Ships were built to withstand the power of the ocean, not to pamper those on board. Living conditions were basic at best. Life at sea consisted of simple routines and hard work. The days were long and the tasks demanding. For the crew, life was a cycle of watches, maintenance, and navigating changing weather. For passengers, it was confinement and patience. Journeys could last for weeks or even months. The air below deck could be stale and unpleasant. The ship's role was a constant companion. Seasickness was common and affected many travelers. Food was survival, not delight, repetitive and lacking fresh ingredients. There were no organized activities. Watching the sea was often the day's event. These voyages were a test of endurance and isolation for crew and passengers alike. Leisurely voyages begin to dawn. In the late 19th century, the wealthy began to see the sea not as a barrier, but as recreation. Wealthy Europeans and Americans took voyages purely for leisure. They boarded not just to get somewhere, but to savor the journey. A new social world formed on deck. Music in the afternoons, books, promenades. First-class service elevated food and comfort. People gathered to talk, play cards, and dance in the evenings. These leisure trips often shared space with migrants and cargo, yet areas emerged for relaxation. Shaded decks, elegant dining rooms, and stylish promenades made the sea a stage for status and comfort. The shift was gradual, but for a select few, the sea was becoming a destination in its own right. This subtle change laid the groundwork for ships built for pure pleasure. A ship built purely for pleasure. In 1900, Prinzessin Victoria Luise launched, unlike any before it. Not designed for cargo, not built to transport migrants. Its sole function was pleasure cruising. Conceived entirely for comfort. First-class cabins, many with private washrooms, and modern electric lighting. A floating hotel, not a transport ship. Smaller than great liners, it offered intimacy, and a revolutionary idea. It proved there was a market for pleasure cruising. The concept spread, inspiring spaces for music, social gatherings, and quiet relaxation. Widely regarded as the first purpose-built cruise ship, its legacy marked the true beginning of the cruise industry. In the early 20th century, the great ocean liners began to change. Titans of speed and capacity, they ferried passengers across the North Atlantic. Influenced by leisure cruising, liners embraced luxury and leisure. Parts of these ships became opulent, grand dining rooms with high ceilings and elaborate decoration, elegant lounges, well-stocked libraries, and long promenades for strolling. Social life was vibrant and structured, governed by rules and formal dress. Yet they still transported migrants, carried mail and high-value goods, a bridge between function and leisure. Grand staircases, palm courts, and swimming pools set new standards of comfort. Speed and function coexisted with elegance and pleasure, paving the way for ships devoted solely to leisure. That shift reshaped maritime travel. Major world events profoundly shaped shipping. After the Second World War, air travel began to dominate long distances, faster, safer, more affordable. Ocean liner passenger numbers fell. The old business was no longer viable. Ships needed a new purpose to survive. Lines pivoted to experience, transforming ships into floating holiday destinations. By the 1950s and 1960s, the modern cruise era had begun. The ship itself became the destination. Pools, spacious sun decks, theaters and stages, large informal dining, deck games, shopping arcades, cruises open to families. The mood turned casual and festive with music, dancing, and nightly shows. Lines stopped selling transportation. They sold complete vacation packages where the journey was the point. In the latter half of the 20th century, cruise ship design advanced rapidly. Builders created larger, safer vessels. New materials and advanced technologies made it possible. Powerful stabilizers reduced rolling for a calmer ride. Precision navigation enhanced safety. Engines grew more powerful, efficient, and cleaner. Stricter regulations governed construction and operations. Onboard comfort soared with diverse accommodations. Private balconies, larger suites, multiple rooms, and luxurious furnishings. Dining multiplied, themed bars and specialty restaurants. Entertainment scaled to full productions. Ships blended high-end hotel comforts with boundless activities. Today's largest ships carry thousands of guests and over 1,000 crew. Self-contained cities at sea. Expansive spas, multiple pools, and countless dining venues. Broadway-style shows, sports courts, ice skating rinks, and sprawling promenades. The evolution of cruising has created a specialized market. Modern luxury ships are often smaller and more intimate. They deliver a more personal, refined experience. Exceptional service, sometimes nearing one staff member per guest, enables true personalization. A world of quiet, attentive care. Food is a highlight. Menus by renowned chefs in elegant, uncrowded restaurants. Design favors understated elegance, warm wood, polished marble, soft leathers, and curated art. Spacious suites, most with large private balconies and butlers to handle every request. Experiences are tailored, even bespoke excursions. Smaller ships reach remote places. The journey rivals the ports. Enrichment with historians, naturalists, and experts turns travel into learning. A long way from the rough, crowded decks of the 18th century. From an old wooden deck to a modern private balcony, one truth is clear. The cruise ship story reflects human ingenuity and changing desires. The sea has not changed. Its power and beauty remain, demanding respect. The evolution from survival to leisure is also a design and business journey. Builders mastered technology for comfort and safety. Operators learned to sell experiences, not tickets. With growth came responsibility, environmental standards, safety, transparency, and respect for local communities. We end with a simple image: a large, elegant ship gliding across calm waters at sunset. Guests watch day fade, surrounded by comfort, fine food, music, and attentive service. This vessel is the culmination of countless innovations, from hard decks and cargo holds to soft beds and private suites. The sea keeps its ancient voice, and people have learned to listen in comfort.